start creating our coffee store database. So open up MySQL Workbench and go to the dev user connection. And then the first thing we want to do is we want to show databases. And you can see we just have the 4 databases that MySQL Workbench is installed with. So we need to create our database. So we need to create database, and then we're going to call it coffee_store, and then run that, and then run show databases again, and we see we have our coffee store database, and we can then type use coffee store. Okay, so now we're in our coffee store. We need to create our 3 tables. So we're going to create our products, customer and orders table. So to create a table in MySQL, we need to type create table followed by the table name. So let's first create the products table, and then we need to open a pair of brackets, and we're going to type more SQL code within the brackets, and we always end with a semicolon. So let's open the brackets, and in here we're going to define our column names and data types. So the first column name is going to be an ID column, and this is going to be the primary key. So we're going to call it ID, and it's going to be a number, so it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. with each new entry in the table. So we want to use the int data type. And then because it's the primary key and we want it to be unique, we're actually going to type auto increment. And this means that when we insert data into our table, it's going to auto increment this ID column. So it's the first row will be ID 1, second will be ID 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. And then because this is the primary key column, we need to type primary key. So that's how we define primary keys in a table. We just type primary key after the data type, and then end with a comma. So the second column that we want to have in our products table is a name column. So this will contain the name of the product sold in our coffee store. And this is going to be a data type varchar, and we need to define the maximum length, so let's say 30. So this will take any string up to 30 characters long. And then the final column we want in our products table is a price. So this is the price sold for each product, and this is going to be a decimal data type. And because we're just selling coffee, the maximum price of a product is not going to be more than 9.99, so we can just type 3, 2. So this will take values like 4.50, but it won't take values like 15.25. So that's what we need for our price column, and then that's it. That's our table created. So let's run this statement now. And you can see it created the table. So now let's show tables. And you can see tables in coffee store, we have our products table here. So that's how we create tables in MySQL. We type create table followed by the table name, and then we define our columns and data types and primary keys. So now we've created our products table, I want you to create the customers table. So the customers table should have an ID column, which will be the primary key as well, and then it will have a first name, last name, gender and phone number columns. So think about which data type each column should have and create that table, and I'll be along with the solution in a couple of seconds. Okay, so hopefully you were able to create the customers table, and it should have looked like this. So we should have an ID field that is int, that auto increments and is the primary key. We have a first and last name column, which are both varchars. We then have the gender column, which is an enum, which can take male or female, so M or F. And then finally we have the phone number column, which we've used the data type varchar rather than int, because although it's made up of numbers, it's not really a number in the usual sense, so we use a varchar with length 11. So let's run that. And now we have both our tables, the customer and the product table. So finally we need to create our orders table. Now our orders table is just going to have an ID column, and then it's going to have two foreign keys. So it's going to have a product ID column and a customer ID column, and then it's going to have an order date. So let's create table orders, open our brackets like normal. So the first column is going to be our ID column. It's going to be an int, it's going to auto increment, and it's going to be our primary key. So just like for the other tables. And then finish with a comma. And then the next column is going to be a product ID column. So product underscore ID. It's going to be an int, and it's also going to be a foreign key. So we'll look at how we can set foreign keys in a minute. The next column is going to be a customer ID column, and that's also going to be an int, and it's also going to be a foreign key. And then the final column is just going to be an order time column. So it's going to hold the time that the order was placed, and this is going to be a date time data type. Okay, so that's all our columns set for our orders table. Now we just need to look at how we can set our two foreign keys. So on the next line we need to type foreign key, and then we need to type in a pair of brackets, we need to type the column name, which is going to be a foreign key. So the first one is going to be our product ID column, so we need to type product ID, and then we need to type references. So this product ID column is going to be referencing another column in another table, so we need to type the table name. So it's going to be referencing the products table, and then open a pair of brackets, and within the brackets we need to type the column in the products table that this product ID column is going to be referencing. So it's going to be the ID column in the products table. So that's how we set foreign keys. And then let's set the second one. So we need to type foreign key again, open a pair of brackets, and this time we need to type customer ID. So it's going to be the customer ID in the orders table, and that's going to be referencing the customers table and the ID column. So that's how we set foreign keys, and now we can run this statement. And we can show table again, and we now have our three tables in our coffee store database. So we've learned how to create tables in a database